Hey everyone, welcome to the May 11th to the 17th weekly agenda. I wanted to go over this week's activities with you and get you kind of in the right mindset for what we have going on. So this week we have 4 activities and they are all going to be due on the 18th. As a reminder, if you did not complete last week's activities, they were due at 7:59 a.m. on Monday, which was the 11th. And if you weren't able to complete those yet, make sure you get those turned in as soon as possible, as I am going through and grading your participation and making sure that you have reached satisfactory. You'll notice for some of you, I may have sent a message home saying, hey, make sure you're getting your work done as a reminder. And if you aren't satisfactory for the week or in the course as of now, you should have been informed about that. So to get back into our weekly agenda for the May 11th to the 17th, like I said, 4 activities. The first one will be about questions to ask a boat builder. So there's a video I've posted for you in a discussion board. You're going to watch the video, and I want you to come up with 5 questions that maybe the boat builder, his name's Leo, did not respond to. Maybe about the process of building a boat. Maybe just something about his personal life and how he got to being a boat builder. So I'd like you to come up with those 5 questions and go ahead and post that in the discussion board. And then the second activity is going to be about custom boat builds. So typically in transportation systems, I like to have an opportunity for you to build your own boats and test them out in class. Unfortunately, because we're not in an actual classroom, we aren't able to create these boats. But I thought this would be a neat opportunity to see what it's like to go out and buy a boat and have all those features in front of you and to determine, what's that boat going to look like. So I've provided a few websites for you to go through that custom boat build process. And so I'm going to ask that you create 2 custom boats, again, hypothetically speaking, and you're going to kind of weigh the pros and cons of each of those boats. So I want you to compare them. And ultimately, you need to decide which is the boat that you would buy if you had the option to. And so this is an activity that it's going to take a little bit more time outside of Schoology. And then the final submission can happen in a Word document, a PowerPoint, whatever you feel more comfortable in. I'd really like to see the boats that you design. So create or provide a screenshot of that boat. And, again, identify what features maybe you added to your boat and why you did. So I think this will be a fun activity just because it's something a little bit different than what we typically do. But it kind of gets you into that mindset of, using the knowledge you've gained from the past 2 weeks and applying it to these designs here in class. The third activity for the week will be another discussion board. And this one has to do with failures in water transportation. And this is throughout history, not just anytime recently, but anytime, we've had water transportation in the news. I want you to try to find an article or a video, some significant failure that happened and why and how it relates to water transportation. And I want you to summarize it and kind of give us a little bit of information on, what happened and why it happened. It's amazing. Typically in this class we have an opportunity, like I said, to build stuff and figure out why it didn't work, if it didn't work, or what made it successful. But just like in today's class, we look at the failures as not just a success because we learned from it, but we learned through the knowledge that people have gained before us and in the design process and how it applies to water transportation. So like I said, discussion board will be posted for you to complete. With each of the discussion boards, there will be a chance for you to reply to your classmates to at least one regarding the discussion post or board and the topic that's being discussed there. So I'd like to, and I challenge you to think about something other than the Titanic, right? We all know that the Titanic sunk, and I'd like to challenge you to think of something else that has not been discussed. You won't be able to see other classmates, so I understand that there might be a little bit of overlap between one submission to the next, but I do want you to try to come up with something different. And then our last discussion board for the week. So again, this is the 4 activities for the week. we have some the impact that the coronavirus has had on water transportation. We obviously we're not in school anymore because of the coronavirus, and so this impacts us in how we learn. But how does it impact water transportation systems? We've learned a little bit about what makes up water transportation, the careers that are associated with water transportation. So what impact has COVID-19 have had on the system, and so I want you to do a little bit of research on your own, and find an article or video or any source of information that is reliable, so not Wikipedia, and give us a little bit of information on what's happening and why it's happening. So summarize that article or video for us, and provide a link to that. And then the last thing as far as that discussion post would be to or ask a classmate, so reply to at least one of your classmates, a question about the article or video that they posted and their summary that they had, and then to go back and actually answer that question. So that's your weekly agenda for May 11th to the 17th. Like I said, all these activities will be due on Monday, May 18th at 7:59. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of your posts online. And as always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. Our office hours on Zoom will happen on Monday in the afternoon. So you'll see that in the calendar. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out through Schoology. All right, see you guys all online.